Hello, this is Alex Terranisaur with a Lightning Blast Mage build guide. I'm building it with Runemaster right now, but Sorcerer is also fine. I'm going to start with a Monolith run at around 400 Corruption, then do a Harbinger fight, and then I'm going to go through the skills, passives, and then the items, and talk about the build a little bit. So here we go. So the main damage dealer is going to be your Lightning Blast. Of course, I get these guys. I hate the little axe thrower guys. They are brutal. So if you want to be a little more defensive, you can kind of go ahead of you a little bit. Kind of be a little more cautious. Get some stuff done at range. Or you can just be brave and just charge in there. Just try and kill them. Destroy the flame spiders. Looks like they're all down there.
I cannot do that.
We're gonna hate these axe thrower dudes. Undead Wengari. So we are killing these dudes pretty well. Kind of just so the way that it is actually working is we're doing a Lightning Blast as single target, but then using spark charges to have it do area of effect. These guys, you gotta be a little scared of those axe guys. Where are we at? 3 flame spires. It'd be cool if they went down to 2 flame spires. I think they did that recently in a patch for a few of the other quest objectives. Kind of skipping picking up items because I'm doing this for a video.
I cannot do that.
So I am using Glyph of Dominion to give me smooth speed, a little bit of the stutter stepping to kind of dodge and not doing damage. Get away from that kind of stuff. Okay, dodge the giant things falling from the sky. And then, so the Frost Wall is actually casting Lightning Blast too. That's one of the nodes you can get on the tree, so it's actually casting quite a bit of Lightning Blast, which is nice. It melted. As you can see, the damage kind of ramps up. It sort of starts off a little slow, and then as you get the Lightning Shred stacks, Shock stacks, Armor Shred stacks, you start doing more and more damage, which is why it's pretty good for single target. There. So now we're going to show off single target a little bit to fight these guys. These guys, I usually try to kill. I usually try and do their shields one at a time. I can't remember what the special name is for that shield. Kind of rotate. These guys actually do have a lot of abilities that hit pretty hard. They're kind of like dorky. I'm kind of just like running around in a circle, not really paying attention. Kind of doing this stutter stepping. Got a tons of move speed with haste. It kind of lets me dodge. You can kind of aim anywhere too, which is pretty interesting. You can see I'm kind of aiming like, and it just either auto targets or redirects the shot at our chain. After this, we're going to try and cook up some ward. Don't want to get hit by the giant balls of fire. Probably wanna... Oh. So you can definitely take some hits still. You got the Lightning Aegis, which helps a lot. Which is nice to be able to take a few little hits. Obviously, as you get super high up, you won't be able to take those, you won't be able to make those mistakes. It's getting low. Alright. So there you go. Oh my gosh, did I get a new one? I got it for the video. I somehow hadn't gotten the grand version of this. So that's exciting. Must be because I'm recording. Just grab... I don't think I need any of this. Oh, I can take that. Alright. So, that was the gameplay footage. We're going to go through the skills first. So Lightning Blast, the main thing this is doing is you're going to take Convergence, which says Lightning Blast chains now hit the same target after a delay, but no longer chains to additional enemies. Lightning Blast chains half as many times rounded up. So this is going to be the really high single target damage. Instead of chaining in an area of effect kind of feel, we're going to just do less chains but hit the same target. You're going to get 2 chains innately from the skill. You're going to get 2 chains from here, and you're going to get 4 chains here. So it's 8 total chains extra. Cut in half, because it says half, so 4 chains. So they all get redirected to the same target. So that ends up being a 400% more multiplier. Some other notables are the Lightning Aegis, which you should be getting pretty much all the time. Lightning Aegis is kind of mandatory because of the damage reduction. So if you don't get it here, make sure to take Static Orb or get it some other way. We got base critical strike and damage is really strong. And then the other part of the build that allows you to do area clear is the spark charges on hit and some spark charge damage. There's other variations like this where potentially you drop like the glyph and you get like Elemental Nova and apply and do the area damage through just a different skill, and then you don't need these. And if you free up those points, you want to get this node, Shatter Shock, and that will give you 36% more damage, and maybe the extra point can go in here or something. So you're going to get a nice damage boost. The Frost Wall, there's not too much to talk about other than one of the Lightning Rod, one of Frostwall's pillars now casts Lightning Blast. So you're going to have this node, and this node, which are all sort of casting Lightning Blast quickly and doing a lot of damage. This is kind of the flex slot. You get haste and ailment cleansing, which is really nice utility. And then the way charged reflections and arcane mirror work is that you actually get a ton of ward per second while you're on the glyph. It ends up being, I think, like 150 or something, 150 ward per second, depending on your resists. You're going to get a lot of extra shock chance, which is nice. You can ramp up damage faster. Theoretically, you get a little bit of defensiveness with the stunning. And then this doesn't do a lot. And then these two don't really do much. There's just kind of nowhere else to put them. This could be swapped out for, Static Orb, Elemental Nova. I think I talk about more options in the build guide. Flame Ward is really strong defensively. We are converting it to Lightning through Lightning Ward, and then we are doing the damage nodes. So you get a pretty big boost of damage when it's up. The other highlights I like in here are, there's a lot of them actually. I like the Dilation, it lasts a lot longer. And then I like Barrier, 40% less damage is incredible. Knockback, and Cast Flame Ward when stunned are also really good. And just an extra buff to ward. Teleport's a little bit flexible. I have this thing going on for this one, the Comet Rush, so technically you're just kind of getting a little more haste uptime a little more easily. I took all this stuff, which is good. The other options are if you go any kind of Elemental Nova route, you can grab these. Otherwise, I really like the mirrors. They're really good. I would probably go with one of them. So that's it for the skills. There's not too much to know, and in like the gameplay video, you pretty much cast your stuff pretty often. I like to cast Flame Ward pretty often. You get the damage boost, you get the defensiveness. If you only cast it reactively, you're kind of just not using it a lot of the time. Glyph of Dominion, you want to keep it up a lot, but it is a little bit mana heavy, 25 mana. So if you just are constantly spamming it, you're probably going to run out of mana. Frost Wall, you can only have once, and that lasts a long time. But it does a lot of damage, so it's usually good to have it up most of the time. The Lightning Blast, pretty cheap. You do need a few mana things to keep it going, but not too bad. The passive skill tree is pretty straightforward. I went with the intelligence, so I grabbed this one. I like this one, just cooldown for teleport, and cast speed is really good for Lightning Blast because of the way Lightning Blast works. It kind of relies on cast speed more than other skills, so I like cast speed. I really like this reactive ward package up here, but you can hold off on that till later to get some of the more offensive stuff if you're starting with the build early. I like these because cast speed is really strong with this build. You're just casting a lot and quickly, and you want to be able to dish out your casts quickly so you can move around. And then the way that chains work for Lightning Blast is it kind of you only get the extra chains if you've cast a lot of Lightning Blasts recently. So you kind of want to be able to cast quickly so you can get the extra chains, get the extra damage. This is a really nice one for mana. You do need some mana regen, so I really like Wisdom. I think the Sorcerer skills are like definitely better than the Runemaster. Like these are more core. I really like Rift Bolt for the elemental damage leech is really nice. And then probably the most important 5 points on the entire tree for any intelligence build is always going to be Calculated Destruction that focuses on crit. So if you look at my stat sheet, I've got 81 intelligence, and then if you go back here, you know, increased spell crit chance per intelligence. So I'm getting 240% crit for 5 points, which is completely crazy. The Runemaster stuff is a little more flexible. I like Jagged Veil, but it's actually kind of hard to get all the way down to the end of the tree. The way Jagged Veil works is you get more crit multi based on your ward, so it is really strong, and you also get about 50 ward per second. This is obviously really good. You cast so fast, you only need 1 point, just a flat damage boost. This is okay, you get more teleports, more flame wards, and a lot of intelligence, but it's not that great. This one's pretty good. You get the 48% more crit multi. Really strong. I really like Rune Cataclysm. Just a more damage multiplier is really nice. And then like these are really good. You get more cast speed, ward on cast, intelligence. I really like this one. You just 8% less damage taken all the time, so that's great. But none of these are super important. You can easily play this as the Sorcerer. They've got like Spell Slingers are really strong. You can get your mana gained as ward really easily. There's some really good int stuff. So as far as passive trees go, they're not super different. There's nothing really that critical. I'd say yeah, like the Calculated Destruction is the only one, like if you're stacking int later on, is just a no-brainer. So that's the skills and the passives. Next we'll go to items. So I'll just start at the top. The plus to Lightning Blast is going to be your most important mod. It goes on helmets. Also, don't forget mana spent gained is ward to get that. So I have that on my helmet. It comes on. You can get it at your helmet or your relic as one of the implicits. Otherwise, you can roll it as a mod. Some of the other important mods are Lightning Critical Strike Multiplier. Can be on chest or helm. That's a really nice damage boost. It's sort of a special mod. And then a really good one is the Spark Champions. You get additional Lightning Blast chains. So that acts as sort of like a more multiplier. So 20% of the time it chains 4 times, which I guess probably it cuts in half to 2 times. So you're getting some extra damage. Other than that, you're going to want a good mix of like health regen, damage. You want to try and get a lot of intelligence, so intelligence on rings. Looks like I'm missing 1 intelligence rules. I have a good one there. I don't have one there either. I could probably use some more intelligence. I got intelligence here, intelligence here, intelligence here. This comes with a lot of intelligence. So here's Fragment of the Enigma. I have a 2LP with a couple nice mods. Those are not mandatory. But the way this works is you get the +1 to lightning skills, which is nice, but it does +2 lightning damage for spark charge per intelligence. And you get a little extra chance to apply a spark charge. So spark charges are how we're going to do the area damage. Otherwise, Lightning Blast would only hit 1 enemy at a time, which makes it really slow for clear. So this is going to make every hit on that enemy apply a spark charge, which is damage in an area. Well, 40% of the time it will. But it ends up giving you enough clear to sort of get by. What is I'm trying to look at some of the other mods. You got your resistance. I like stacking a lot of health, a little bit of ward if you can. Damage, a little bit of mana. Don't forget your critical strike avoidance. I like a really high move speed roll on my boots. And if you can get 1 chance to shred armor, that is a nice extra to have. And yeah, other than that, just filling out your stuff. Yeah, so you see I only have one unique on. The rest is just solo self-found. Decent gear, but not like super min-maxed. And then some of these I just have like the plus health and mana. I wanted to get to 300 mana to have one of these things. I've got some resistances here, and then this one is I get a little extra lightning damage if I have 300 mana. And then so this thing alone is giving me like 110% lightning damage, which is really nice. And then I really like these cast speeds while you have Lightning Aegis. So I got an 18% and then a 17%. So those are really, really nice because cast speed works really well with the build. I can just mouse over my blessings quickly. Some of these are flexible. A lot of these are just pretty much flexible. This one's the best one. Grand Mysteries of the Deep, chance to shred lightning resist. That's probably like semi-mandatory unless you can get shred lightning resist some other way, but that's really, really good. Critical avoidance, that's just the easy way to get your crit avoidance capped. Frailty is really good, and this one is this the one where you get crit multi, and then you get a crit multi, and then spell damage leeches health. I think are both better than this, but I needed this to get my void resistance up, so oh well. I think that's about it. We went through everything. This is the Runemaster variation, which I think is really good. There's definitely a sorcerer variation you could do. You could see the passive trees are about the same. If you're going to go just Lightning Blast, I like Runemaster with Glyph of Dominion. Sorcerer can't do Glyph of Dominion. So I like that. And the Runemaster like abilities also synergize a little bit better. So you get 30% elemental damage and 10% cast speed, which is generally going to be better than a little extra mana. And then, you know, the spells deal more damage for 2 mana cost when your Lightning Blast costs 4 mana. Is just not really doing anything. You could potentially try Arcane Ascendance or something. That might be kind of crazy. So it definitely can be done as a sorcerer or Runemaster. And yeah, let me know what you think. If you have any comments or questions, hit me up. Have a great day.